Hello everyone. I really apologize for the quality of these episodes. It's probably very hard on the ears, but you said that's so funny, ears. But this is the best I can do right now. It's saddening to me as well. But it is what it is, whatever. I have so many thoughts going through my head. I haven't been talking about midwifery at all on this channel. And it is really focused on birth now, what this work is like, what the in-betweens feel like, and everything. And it's hard because right now I'm not actively attending births. I am offering childbirth education classes, which is really fun. And I want to talk about a new thing that I have kind of decided on over the last few days. My childbirth ed series went from one class to now 3 classes, and they're all in person in the home of the mother. And I love that that's where the classes take place and everything like that. I think that there's such a benefit to being in person when teaching because it just gives that sense of comfortability, and it's a vulnerable topic. Childbirth education, even though from the outside it seems so informative and distant, but it's really a vulnerable place for both teacher and student because pregnancy is just so intimate and it's such a sacred and inward experience, and it makes being a teacher in that space very important. And also, I am new at it. So being in person, I feel, is helpful altogether for the whole experience. I feel like I can collect myself better and I can prepare and regroup, and I don't know, it just seems easier for me to do it that way, at least now that I'm in the beginning phases. But something dawned on me that I wanted to offer to you guys, or if anyone is interested that is local to Central New Jersey, or if you would like to try this virtually, doing a little bit of an experiment with my teaching right now, and I'm considering moving from 3 classes to 6 classes, and ideally we'll move from pregnancy, and if you are not pregnant yet, we can even begin pre-pregnancy, things to consider, but also really just starting with the pregnancy experience, things to consider, and moving through the birth process and into postpartum and breastfeeding. And so it will be 6 classes that will focus on the breakdown from pregnancy through postpartum healing, and I will be offering this both virtually and in person. And the reason why I'm moving from 3 to 6 classes is because it is just too much information to allow for conversation and questions, and it's just a lot. It only makes sense to break it up in classes in that way, at least the way that I want to start teaching. And this has been made clear to me through the midwifery group that I'm a part of. I really appreciate this style of breaking things down into smaller bits because we've been practicing that, and I've been taking in so much more information than I usually do when it comes to in-person learning. So I can definitely see that there's a benefit to breaking up information, making it smaller amounts of time for bigger topics, but more of them. And so I want to offer this to you guys both virtually and in person, and I'm going to put it on my website. But if you have any direct questions, contact me. I'll leave my email down below. We can talk about pricing, we can talk about the times and the dates and things like that. And if it's something that would interest you, I would love the opportunity to connect to you and kind of experience this new offering, and also your feedback. That is really important to me, very powerful for the way that I continue to share information, really. And so I want it to be beneficial for those that I'm teaching, because at the same time I'm learning. This is still very new to me, so it would be very helpful, and I would love for it to be you guys. So feel free to reach out. I'll leave my information down below. That's really the news. And the topic that I have on my mind today is this in-between. It's this in-between stages of my life right now. Miles just turned 1, and he is so curious and smart and just growing so quickly, and it's making me reflect on my own growth and how much changes after having a baby and being at the 1 year postpartum. I'm starting to kind of collect pieces of myself back together, and of course I'm not the same as I was before his birth, and I'm kind of redefining who I am. I've been asking myself more, what does Taylar need? Like, what do I need? Forget about what do I want. I don't want to be dreaming and then not taking care of my immediate needs. And need has become a word that has changed for me. Need used to be what is the bare minimum that I need to survive? Need is now expanding as I have 2 children to take care of. I have new dreams and wishes in this new phase, and so I don't want to need things only to get by. I want to need things in an abundant way, in a way that I'll be able to have more freedom, more flexibility, and where it will check off more of my boxes that I want in my life. And so this comes in a variety of different ways, like expressing that, journaling about that. I want to do a little bit more of a deep dive on what I need, because it's changed and it continues to change as long as we grow, which is forever. And part of this in my needs, I think, is my dreams. Like, dreams coming true in a way, like that creative process of bringing a dream to life, for me, is an absolute need. And so as I sit with myself in between my midwifery circle practice, my new job, my midwifery circle practices, because we are doing this spiritual foundation for becoming a midwife right now, where it's really allowing us to go deep. And so I'm really focused in between our meets about who I am and what I am bringing to the table and what I would like to have, in my life. And in between that and my new job, I feel myself in this in-between. I'm in between 2 places right now. I'm in between this new experience that I really love in actually a corporate office, where I feel like a adult, and I feel like I'm getting things done and learning how to get more organized and just really soaking in the experience of full-time work again, because I had stopped for a little while before going back to work when Miles was born, and it was also a comfort zone that I returned to. So this is like a new experience for me altogether, and it's great. Song that we sang this weekend, and it was really speaking to my soul. One of our sisters created it and sang it, and it was just like medicine for the inner witch in me. But yeah, so I'm in this in-between of this new corporate job and then this spiritual experience and growth. And And being in a place right now where, like, I'm not actively seeking for opportunities in birth work aside from expanding childbirth ed and still staying in touch with mothers and families, I think that's really important to me, and I don't want to let that go. Especially while I'm in this midwifery program, because it is keeping this dream alive of going into traditional midwifery, like the connection between mothers and myself. And so I really want to keep that alive. And childbirth ed is the perfect way that I can do that right now. I'm so glad that I ended up getting into childbirth ed, because it's been a really great gift. Wow. Sorry, I have quarters. That's 2 and then 10. Thank you. You too. I love a happy toll guy. So being in these two places, I feel like I am needing to keep myself encouraged that the timing of my experiences will be perfect for traditional midwifery. And whenever that opportunity does arise, whether it's an apprenticeship or attending births again, or just being kind of led by God into that experience, I know that it will be the right timing, and that I don't need to get upset or worry or stress out about it or wonder where I'm going from here, because it's all in the path. And that's been a really big reminder for me, because it's so easy to get caught up in our heads and wonder, like, wait, are our actions aligning us with that desire and that goal that we have for ourselves? And sometimes the actions are not. However, they still are propelling us forward towards our dream, even though it's not a direct line to it. And that's really where I am. And I think that there's so much beautiful, expansive energy in the mystery. Just like in birth, and this was a big topic in our weekend, the in-between, the expansiveness, the opportunities that we don't see, but they are the mystery, and it leads us to places that we don't know exist. But there are infinite possibilities within the space. And so we may have this vision and this dream, but what lies in the spaces in between are the gifts. They're the lessons. They are the turning points and the things that maybe we're not meant to see, but that bring such great beauty and just great changes in our lives that end up leading us to places we would have never gone before if we could write out the perfect plan and follow it. And it's such a gift. Like, I feel like changes in life that happen so quickly and so abruptly can bring the most healing and the most opportunity, because it's not something that we thought of and planned. It's something that we are touched by immediately, and it's kind of just guiding us. Like, there's no thinking involved in a situation that happens out of our control. We just have to follow it, and it just allows for boundless places and experiences. And applying that idea to life and applying it to birth is so stinking cool to me, because as we know, we can't see what a baby is doing inside the body. Like, we had presentations this weekend, and one of our sisters did a presentation on the 7 cardinal movements, and we don't get to see that from the outside. We really don't. How we even know it, I don't know. I need to find that out. Like, how do we know that those are the stages, you know? Who knows? Who knows really? Because we can't see through our bellies. We can't see through our uteruses when we are in labor. But it's amazing to know the process. However, if we were to actually watch it unfold, like, is that something that we would want to watch? I don't know, because nature just kind of does its thing. And there's so much beauty in the unknown when we can't see it. Because sometimes, like, there's things that we're not meant to see, because they can bring worry where there shouldn't be. And it's funny because we watched my birth story through the weekend and my birth video. And in the birth video, my camera died. If you've watched my birth video on YouTube, my camera died right before Miles was born. Literally a minute. Like, it was to the second my camera died right before. And so we charged it for a couple minutes just so we can have it on again. This was Jared's job. We can have it on again for when he came out, so I can get him our immediate first experience together on film. And apparently this happens a lot. Like, people's cameras dies right before the birth itself, and then it's left to mystery. It's left sacred. It's left unknown. And it's like when things like that happen and they are kind of out of our control, like, maybe we aren't supposed to see that for some reason. Who knows? Who knows? But just like life, the things that happen and we don't see the workings of God, we have to walk with blind faith sometimes, most of the times. There's so much magic that's happening outside of our knowing that lead to so much magic, and it's truly the unknown and where I think the magic is, like, actively happening. And then when it comes to light, we're blown away by it because we didn't see the inner workings of how that planned out, except it planned out perfectly. It still somehow did what it is supposed to do and brought us to the place that we needed to be. And a real life example of that is birth. And birth is so much like life. I've heard many midwives say the way that we birth is how we walk in life. And I need to find the quote on where that originated. But it's just true. They're so intertwined, and we're so removed from that as a society. And that's why I'm so called to traditional midwifery, because if we can preserve the spirituality and the sacredness of birth, we have the chance to really heal our society and bring forth new ways of being, of loving, of acting towards each other. It's common that mothers feel very disconnected from their babies when they've had a disturbed postpartum, if baby has been taken from them, or if there was some emergency and mom, had a cesarean and she felt a little bit disoriented after, and those first moments and even hours have been lost. It's common for there to be a little bit of a disconnection there between mom and baby. And we really don't know how that affects human beings. We have literally no idea, because we have only just started to really disturb birth within the last 100, 150 years or so. But we certainly have different ways of living now than we did back then, over 150 years ago. And our world is only getting more disconnected, materialistic, unhealthy. Some can argue that, because there are things coming to the surface. And with medical advances, we are living longer and able to cure certain things. Well, cure as in maybe fix it by putting a Band-Aid over it or removing it. But we really don't know what the disturbance of the birth and early postpartum experience are. And so it's the in-between that we're experiencing. We're experiencing the in-between of babies being born and then growing up. That in-between is where things are happening. Things are being realized. Trauma's being unpacked. Lives are being created based off of the mother and father's or parents' experiences. And that includes good things and hard and even bad things. And the in-between is such a sacred place because there is so much that takes place there. If we even don't realize that it's happening, if we can't conceptualize that it's happening, it's still happening. And so how do we care for ourselves in these in-betweens? How do we figure out what to do, what not to do? It's a big question. And all I can really bring myself back to, which was also a really big topic of our weekend, is love. It's loving ourselves enough, and it's affecting other people enough to help them love themselves and beginning the healing that is maybe lost in the in-betweens. And it's very weird being in the in-between right now as a little tiny baby student midwife. Like, I can't even call myself a student midwife. I don't even feel like I've earned that title. And I think it's because I'm not actively attending births and such. And God has a way of doing things. If I find myself in an apprenticeship role, maybe I'll be comfortable with calling myself a student midwife. But right now, it's like I don't even want to give myself that little inkling because we don't know what we will become eventually. And I don't feel like I've earned that name right now. I was really excited when I decided to join this group and help preserve traditional midwifery and the art of it and the spirituality of it and just the foundational learning that, in my opinion, after being in this for a few months, should be necessary for midwifery all over. I was excited to use the title of a student, but as I learn and as I kind of integrate the work that we're doing, I'm learning more and more that it's really the ego that wants to put a title on things. And we know when we're in the role. We know when we're in the role, when we're ready for the title, if we're truly paying attention. And I feel like I'm too in the thick right now of the in-between to even know where I stand in anything or what I know in anything. I don't know anything. I don't know a thing. And so I'm learning to remove my ego from these times and just be humble to the experience that I'm getting from every teachable moment that I can be present in. And really embracing these times of the unknown, not knowing where I stand, if I'm coming or if I'm going. Like, yes, I want to feel these ways because then when the knowings come, they come and they're able to be trusted because we're allowing ourselves to not know. And it's nice. It feels really good to be accepting of this phase and really be honest with myself about how I'm feeling. And I think that knowing that I have this passion and knowing that birth matters is enough for me to feel good at where I'm at right now and accept that I am not able to take on an apprenticeship right now. But in the future, do I want to? Heck yeah, of course I do. but I'm allowing myself to be okay with the fact that that's not happening right now. And we always, I think, want to rush things just to feel like we're in it, to feel like things are moving forward. And God has a different timing. He really does. He has his own timing. I listened to this song called Tend by Emmy Rose, and I'm going to put it in the description down below because it's really beautiful, and it just really talks about the different seasons of life that we enter, and God is doing work in us still. Even if we don't see what's going on, which we don't most of the time, God is still working with us, and we are still changing and transforming, even if it feels like things are at a little bit of standstill. But the one thing that's constant in life is change. So when we feel this way, I think it's important to be in it and be aware of that feeling. So then we do feel the difference when the energy changes. I'm just really sitting with this right now. I'm feeling very grateful to have this awareness around letting go and just like allowing myself to receive what it is that's here for me in the moment, and not spend all my time wishing and dreaming and missing out on this feeling right now, because I think it's a big lesson in being patient and trusting and having blind faith. And so I thank you for listening and being here today. And my prayer for you all is that you're able to feel your heart right now and accept yourself exactly the way that you are, and know that you are always being guided by God and yourself, and you're in this co-creation